Hi there, this is a short video to talk about something in Inspira which has become known at UQ as sneaky settings. So as we know, our menu panel on the side here is different depending on if we're clicked into the white space of the text box and when we're clicked into the grey space around a question. So we have different menus, and these different menus all have multiple drop-down menus as well. What I want to focus on today is this section here, which has options. So these change depending on the question type. And the reason I have grouped these four questions together, we've got multiple response, multiple choice, true and false, and this is an inline choice. I grouped these ones together because they all have the option for random order of alternatives. This always comes turned on, so it's an automatic function that it will mix up your alternatives when the question is live for the students to take. This is generally the kind of function that we would want to take or want to use, and I think it's a good way to make your question more complex, and so that students can't say, oh, which one did you check. But there are some cases where it's not recommended, for example, in true and false questions. So if you're using true and false, or even perhaps an inline choice, and using the same alternatives every time, I think it causes more confusion for students to have this random order of alternatives turned on. So true and false, you really only have two options, so there's no need to have the random order of alternatives turned on. And this is something that can be picked up on later when your exam goes through to chief examiners, and they might ask you to change it because it can cause confusion. So that can be the same for the inline choice. Sometimes people use this when they want to have the same alternatives but for multiple questions. In that case, you might also turn off the random order of alternatives for that, because students, we don't want them to be confused by the random mix-up of the same alternatives every time. I think it's really only a useful function when you're having questions with different alternatives for each question. So this option is in the same place for all of these question types. So multiple response, it's under options, the same for multiple choice, the same for true and false, and the same for inline choice as well. So that's our first session on sneaky settings, and I hope you found this video useful.